You're now listening to the Zod and Drea podcast.
All right, we are back.
Welcome back, everybody.
Welcome back, and as you can tell, I got my voice back because last week I was a little rough, but now Drea's rough.
Now I've got the rough voice.
Yeah, looks like the sickness had to be passed off because that's just what we do.
I sound like Wolfman Jack.
Yes,
those
you do.
Of you know Wolfman Jack, that's who I sound like.
And let's see if at the end of this podcast, if Drea says bye before I do. So in case you don't know, today is November 6th, 1982.
What? I almost questioned. I'm like, am I on too much NyQuil?
It
What
is
was that?
November 6th, 2018, and these are the midterm elections, and this is finally the day that we are going to be handling all this. We are going to find out what happens in all of the states with all of these elections, all of the hotly contested, candidates that are going up against each other, and it's just going to be a wild day.
It's already been announced that in Arizona, early voting has gone up over 200%.
Yep, like 219%.
That's nuts for Arizona.
So if that's Arizona, you know that it's been going up all over the country. So these are just the early ballots. They said it was the early ballots in the United States so far has already exceeded 30 million.
Holy moly.
So that's early. So you know today.
Would there actually be like 50% of the population voting?
God, imagine if 50% actually did, and people actually came out. And that's just midterm elections, which is done a lot less than, regular presidential elections. So it's going to be a wild ride today. And we are in the thick of it because of what we do on our other side. And we're going to be out there at 3 a.m. just getting rid of our sanity, unfortunately.
Maybe I'll have a voice.
So ridiculous.
I don't even know if I'll have a voice. So.
All
but
right,
again,
let's get into it.
The work's great, so that's what we're here for.
All right, so let's get into it. So for the entertainment, we just watched the series. We're gonna do Iron Fist, but maybe we'll do that later. I don't know what, because it was dope. But what's our entertainment?
Is the hunting on House Hill.
All right, close. It's called House on Haunted Hill.
Oh, for all this time I thought it was the other way.
And too many H's. So,
either way, it was so good.
It's on Netflix. We're going to talk about that. On relationships, we're going to talk about Zod and Drea in Europe. Yes.
European trip.
Oh, my God. It's going to be like Chevy Chase all over again.
I was just about to say, we need the theme song.
Oh, my God. Now I can't get it out of my head. And, of course, our main topic is going to be Election Day. What will either result due to the U.S. democracy? So we're going to try to dig into that on our segment. Right now, let's go into some good stuff. Let's talk about House on Haunted Hill.
So we started this like early last week because I kept reading about, this is a series that people are like fainting on because it's so scary and people are just traumatized by it. So I thought, all right, I fell for this before. I don't really believe the hype. Let me just see what this is like. And I didn't faint, but I had a good time.
Yeah, you screamed a lot.
I screamed.
Like literally. Okay, I haven't screamed at a horror movie, actually probably ever, but I'm going to tell you something. I've jumped at horror movies back in the day. I don't do it anymore, but man, everything that I haven't done for every horror movie that I've watched since probably like 1980, something like that, whatever Cujo came out, Drea made up for it. I mean, screamed. Like, hilariously screamed. God. I mean,
and it just won't stop. And those keep continuing. I can't help it. I get invested. I get emotionally drawn to the stories. And what I enjoyed about this story, about the series, is it ties into, it's this story, but it's not like gory. It's creepy. And it's the big creep factors that I like. And it's shot so well.
Yeah, it's shot really well. It's a dark movie, so it's always in the dark. I mean, I feel bad for the cameraman and how they didn't trip over each other, but it's 10 episodes deep. It's only on Netflix. If you want to do it, make sure you check it out. House on Haunted Hill, and it was just a story about these people who want to flip a house. All you want to do is flip a house, and it's all good. Who doesn't?
Make some money in the summertime.
Yeah,
brought the kids with them.
So we got a couple, and God, I think they had 5 kids with them.
Yeah, they did.
They had a lot of kids, and each one of them was kind of like unique. Each one of the kids were unique, and once you start digging more into it, it winds up coming to find out that a lot of the episodes become about each person, including the kids. So they kind of juxtaposition themselves between the past, when Dad first bought the house, and then now, or more the present, as into a result of what happened.
As they're adults and everything that they experience from that house and how their lives have evolved from there.
Oh, no, you were right. Man, they had it wrong on the internet.
The Haunting of Hill House.
Yeah, The Haunting of Hill House. All right, you are right.
Dun, dun, but it's still scary.
Stupid internet.
But what the scary parts to me were I don't want to give it away too much because you really got to see it. But again, it's just how it's shot. Like, all of a sudden, you're watching a scene, and the actor is talking to somebody, but then all of a sudden, there's this little face in the background, and no one notices it, and it's just zooming by. You caught a really good scene on one episode.
I mean, it was pretty easy to see, but it was just really interesting to wind up seeing where, you're focused on one thing, and then you're like, wait a minute, is that something in the back? They shot that really well, and then you wonder how deep. By the time you notice it, it's like, how deep does it go?
Mm-hmm.
And then come to find out, if you look at some of the spoilers, which I'm not really spoiling, it winds up going back. It winds up going back to, like, the first episode in the first, like, minute. And how it was. And Carla Gugino, that's like my one of my Hollywood girlfriends.
Oh, she's gorgeous.
She's one of those women that just winds up looking better with age.
How does she do that?
I don't know. Hollywood magic.
Wow.
But she's you have to see the whole thing. It's hard to say because they wind up being the young version of themselves and the older version of themselves. So it's a really unique story, but the mother is a very central part of everything, as well as the father, for different reasons. So Timothy Hutton is like the older version of what's my man's name?
E.T.
Yeah, I hate to yeah. I feel bad because I'm like, I know he's not trying to be Elliot.
Elliot forever, but I'm sorry.
He's Henry Thomas. He's like, God, man, the 80s are over, dude.
He's like,
can't I have my life back?
I have a 401k, okay?
Got the AARP card. You guys are screwing me.
Sorry, Elliot.
Oh, man. So, yeah, Henry Thomas and, like I said, Carla Gugino. And, man, the little girl who played, God, what was her name? Nell. Little young Nell. Oh, she was so cute.
Gosh. And her brother.
And her brother,
with
Luke.
Glasses.
Luke. Oh, man, such a cute
You understand,
kid.
these actors were so good.
And they're so good in everything. And one of my favorite, I think, was it 7 or 8, when they did the long shots.
Mm-hmm.
Like those, the uncut scenes. That just absolutely amazing on the scenes of the directors, the writers, and the producers. So if you get a chance, make sure you go see the Haunting of Hill House, because it's a ghost story that is really well done.
It pulls at the heartstrings.
Yeah. So anyway, going from that, let's talk about our upcoming trip, because
look at me, with the scratchy voice.
Scratchy voice, you got a little bit.
I got a little bit. Mm-hmm.
So it's going to be Holiday Road, except over in Europe. Now, I've been to these countries before, which is one of the reasons why I always search it, because I like to go back, and it just sometimes it just winds up feeling like home. But Drea has never been out of the country overseas.
Yeah, overseas. No.
Overseas.
I've been to other countries, but I haven't been overseas.
Not overseas.
I haven't been in Europe.
So this is going to be something a little different, and it's going to be different for me because I get to travel. I mean, normally I always travel alone. Mm-hmm. Normally. I've traveled with others before, but normally it's like an alone mission. And so this one's going to be a lot different because it's going to be through her eyes. And where are the places we're going to hit?
We're going to hit Paris.
Paris, France.
We're going to hit Amsterdam.
We're going to go to Amsterdam.
And then we're going to hit a few cities in Germany.
And then we're going to go to Germany. So we're going to be having a nice little tour of with just ourselves, and we're going to meet up with a friend in Germany, and it's just going to be a ball. And, hey, nice quick layover in London. I don't know if that counts, but you are going to be there.
In London.
It counts. I don't care. So we are planning to go to do all the touristy stuff, of course, such as like Eiffel Tower, Arc de Triomphe, and, some of these other places. But I got to go to Sacré-Cœur, which is my favorite place. And we can probably go on there on the way to from Notre Dame, mm-hmm. which is going to be on I think it's the Rhine River, right? I get the two mixed up because there's the Rhine River, and there's also the Seine River. You don't know either one?
No, what you're talking about. I'm telling you, I'm going to be new to all of this. To me, and you know how much I love museums, right? So, of course, I want to see the Louvre, but I'm not I could care less if I saw the
Mona Lisa and all
yeah,
that.
because
I still haven't. I've been there so many times and I still haven't seen that.
it's just the other parts of the museums that I would just love to see. And for me, I'm excited to see just the old structures. I love old buildings. I love old churches. So I know I'm going to be surrounded by that, and I'm going to lose my mind. And just to be around structures and walking down cobble roads that have been around for centuries is for me extremely exciting and humbling too at the same time.
I keep saying the sign only because it looks like sign. It's called this. I forgot. It's called the Seine. Now that I see it, it's called the Seine River, I believe. Seine, and that's the one that's in France. The Rhine is in Germany, so it's going to be kind of cool that you're going to see both of them. But also that you're going to be going to Amsterdam, which is a really cool freaking spot.
Right.
I'm going just for the fries, and I don't know why Drea's going.
I'm just coming along for the ride.
Along for the ride, but no, I'm actually gonna just have her dictate. She's just gonna dictate where she wants to go, and then that's just it. We just have to make sure that we're back in Paris by the time we leave. Otherwise, we're gonna probably be in trouble.
Yeah, we want to catch our flight back.
Sort of.
Maybe.
Possibly. I might accidentally miss it.
But yeah, I'm really excited, and I know this is something that we've been discussing and wishing to do for a while, and it wasn't until you just found like an awesome deal and you were like, look, let's just
that was
we gotta do it.
Like we had no choice.
It's just it
like
has
the
to be
price
done.
well, the price was so low that it had to be done. And yes, it's gonna be chilly over there, and guess what? I don't care.
I am gonna be so excited.
Tell you the truth, I think I'm gonna wind up on our break. After we talk about this, I might look on Amazon and look for a little pocket camera just to take, because I'm not taking my Nikon.
No, you don't want to do that. So that's what I'm looking forward to seeing. And of course, in Germany, seeing the friends that you've had for a long time, but also touring all of those castles too.
The castles.
Man, I can't wait to see these castles.
If we can in France.
Will I see Dracula?
You might not see Dracula, but Versailles. Have you heard of Versailles?
Yes, I've heard of Versailles.
Yes, it's right outside of Paris. Beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
Beautiful, 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 beautiful. We got to look into that and maybe take a bus over there so that you can see that. And that'll probably take a whole day because you won't go anywhere else.
And like all I'm planning that we're in Paris for eating is to have baguettes.
That's it. We're going to eat like crap.
Eat at drink the best coffee there and have wine.
I like the fact that you and Karen in Germany may have some of the best fusion food ever made.
So his
Real
friends
quick,
that have asked them for us to stay in Germany, we're going to try to make tacos while I'm out there in Germany. So we'll see how we make this
German
happen.
tacos,
I may have to smuggle tortillas from Carolinas here in Phoenix to take on the plane so we can make some tacos.
Tacos. So you just imagine what that's going to be like. But we're going to have a lot of fun.
Can we
and
put
we're going to make sure.
bratwurst in it?
You might, but we're going to have a great time.
It'll
And
be
you're going to
good.
see what happens in a couple weeks.
Please listen carefully.
Hey, what's up, everybody? I'm Zod,
And I'm Drea.
and we want you to check out the Zod and Drea podcast every Tuesday.
Where can everybody find us at?
You can always check us out on www.zodanddrea.com.
Where else?
You can always check us out also on Facebook at Zod and Drea.
Instagram?
Zod and Drea.
Snapchat?
Zod and Drea.
YouTube?
Zod and Drea.
I see a pattern.
I see a pattern. So if you haven't caught that, catch us at Zod and Drea on all the social networks. But also, make sure you subscribe to the Zod and Drea podcast. Where?
At zodanddrea.com.
And also on YouTube and iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher, and iHeartRadio. We're coming for you.
Let us know what you think. And if you want to be a guest, reach out to us.
And put all of your input into whatever our topics are for the week. So we hope to check you out and see you there.
Bye.
All right, we are back at it.
Let's talk about this.
All right, so what is it you want to get into? You want to get into this
What
main
will
topic?
be the results due to the U.S. democracy?
Yes, it's election day, so what will happen? Let's get into some of this stuff because this is going to be totally biased anyway because we're obviously progressives, and I'm not even like I'm not going to fake it, but I do want to dig into what it is that makes a Democrat versus what makes a Republican. And to tell you the truth, I don't even care about those titles. It's more so what makes a liberal versus a conservative. Like, that's kind of what I really want.
Mm-hmm.
People focus on titles a lot, and it's stupid because you'll see Republicans nowadays. Oh, my God, the Trump supporters who talk about, well, you know, Lincoln, he was a Republican, and so was Martin Luther King, and they did some great things that were, like, yeah, they were also progressive. They did things that today's conservatives would never, ever do. that would never, ever, ever do. The Republicans would never, ever, ever. They don't. They don't even do things that Jesus would do.
Like
If Jesus,
taking refugees.
thank you. Please talk about it a little bit.
I mean, come on. I mean, if these are people that claim to live and die by the Bible, then these conservatives or these people that are so evangelistic would be willing to take in these refugees, give them shelter, give them food, protect them, just like Jesus did.
Yeah, but they don't.
No.
So, like these people who claim to be, number one, they worship Trump. So that's already their first mistake.
So would you call them conservatives, though? Because there's conservatives that don't support
they don't.
Trump.
I'm gonna tell you something. There are true Republicans that do focus on the financial aspect, and that's the way they feel that capitalism is God and all this other stuff, and everybody has to work for what they want, which is fine. Work for what you want, but if you see, here's where that falls out of place. Is everybody works for what they want, but until somebody who cannot work for what they want. So work for what you want. You amass all this money, and then you wind up getting black lung disease from working in the coal mines because coal is the future. And then you wind up getting black lung disease, and now your health is shit. Then what do? Well, you worked all your life. You're gonna have to just work for your own insurance company, insurance policies. But then the insurance policies, which Republicans like to back up a lot, wind up saying, you got a pre-existing condition, which Republicans have fought against ever since the ACA came out, and too bad for you. It winds up being too bad for you. You did that. You're going to have to die. They never think about people getting sick and the fact that, this is the government. They collect money for all of this. What taxes are for. It's like, what? We should be able to take care of our citizens so that they can produce. If I take care of you and you're healthy now you can go back and produce.
I've educated you.
Yes.
I've given you health care.
Yes.
Now you can be productive and make this community better. And then pass it on to the next generation that comes along. Sounds pretty basic, right?
Sounds pretty easy. That's what I mean. That's what I thought you were supposed to do. But Republicans don't like that. They want everybody to fend for themselves. That's literally what it is. Just to fend for yourself. They don't want, for whatever reason, Republicans are against free health care. Everything winds up circling back around their wallets. It's all about money for them. Like everything is about money for them, no matter what. They don't want free education. They want everybody to friggin' work for free education. They won't work for their education, have to pay for it out of their pockets. Because I don't want to have to spend, I don't want to get taxed for, someone else's, then don't get taxed for someone else's education. Get taxed because you want your children or your grandchildren to get an education or a free education. If you get a free education like they do in a lot of European cities, then you wind up investing or reinvesting into the community that you're in. You get to stay in, you make the money, and it's like, that's what an investment is. You invest in the future by investing in the people.
It blows my mind with all these, I know, in this state, a lot of retirees or people that, retire here from another state, they don't want to invest in education. That's a lot, and I'm not just making that up. That's like polls show that investing in education is not important to them. And I get it. It's because of their children are grown. They don't have kids here, so they don't see that investment. But guess what? When you get older and you get sick, you're going to need a nurse to take care of you. You're going to need
no
a
matter
healthcare
what,
person
like
to
you're
take care of
going
you.
to.
They're going to need an education. And if they're going to be in that state, they're going to need to provide the best education then for you so they can take care of you. Do you see how this all works out to help everybody? I just don't understand it.
No.
So then, let's predict then. It's November 7th, right? Let's say the Democrats win. What would that look like?
Yeah.
Would that look like different laws being passed in Arizona? Does that look, what would that look like?
In Arizona, it seems, well, I mean, here's what's funny. You wind up thinking
talking about a national scale, sorry.
I'm thinking of a national scale, but even still, what's going to happen locally? When you wind up thinking about what they took off of the ballot, like the Supreme Court came in, they said, 63,000 of your signatures aren't going to work, so we're going to kick on, invest in ed or what was it, outlaw dirty money. So, so you start seeing what they're doing in order to make sure that they win, not just on a ticket of passing laws that will benefit the rich and the wealthy, but that will also suppress others. So if the Republicans wind up winning, they're going to keep on gerrymandering and redistricting, which is what
Mhm.
they've been doing recently to a lot of towns. I was telling somebody today about a story that I saw where there's a college, I forgot where it is, but there's a college, a black college, that has literally been redistricted straight through the middle of the school, separated by a street.
That's nuts.
Yes. So they're like, they cross the street, like, oh, this is District 6. They cross the street, and this is now District 7. Like, they wound up redistricting because they wind up suppressing the black vote, and that's what makes them win in their district. Because if there are too many black people in one area, they're going to vote a certain way. So they had to separate them.
Mm-hmm.
Even though it's funny because then you have white people who wind up voting the same thing, who do the same thing in those same towns. So what do you wind up doing? The progressives, liberals are known as progressives. And when you look and you break down that word in itself, progressive, progress. We want to progress. We want to move forward. Whereas Trump and his ilk are talking about making America great again. Now, there's a difference between progress and then making America great again. When you say something is going to be again, that means it is not right now. So you're saying that it was great at one point, and you have to wonder where it was. At what point was it great, and for whom was it great? Whereas
who benefited from that
who
greatness.
benefited from that greatness. Now, we know that black people did not. We know Latinos did not. We know natives did not. We know Muslims did not. So there's only really one demographic that has benefited from the greatness of America. And the only reason is now it's like, why is it again? What is it about it that is not again? Like, what is it about it that is not great for these people? More black people, more brown people, more natives, more, it's code that's not so veiled so thinly. Like, we see where it is. We see what it is. And when you're a progressive, you want to just move forward. You want to see what is better for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
So how is free education not better for anybody? So if a Republican winds up getting in there, they do not want that free education. They call it socialism. They like to attach these words to it. Socialism. You're going to take my money and you're going to make people smart. Damn you. That's literally what they're talking about. Oh, these LGBT people getting married. You're supposed to withhold that and keep the Bible for what it is because it's the Bible. But
It's Adam and Eve, not Adam and Steve.
Not Adam and Steve. Yeah, there's a lot of things in the Bible that it says that you do not follow. So if you're not going to follow one, then that means you're not going to follow all. You can't cherry pick the Bible, which means that if you see a quote-unquote caravan of people coming up who want asylum,
Women and children.
because they are in war-torn countries, and I'm sure the United States had helped get war-torn, but if you want that, then you will then also look into the Bible where Jesus has clothed the poor and taken in some refugees and helped them out. That's what you are supposed to do. People claim that this is a Christian nation, and it's not, because it can't claim a religion. There is no religion for the United States, just as there is no official language for the United States. But if you're going to claim that it's a Christian nation, that means that you have to act like a Christian. Jesus Christ would not be at a MAGA rally.
Ew.
He would not be voting for Trump, and as much as you want to try to claim him, Dr. Martin Luther King would not be voting for Trump either. He would be standing there kneeling next to Colin Kaepernick. So you can try to claim the Republican name all you want and be like, oh, he would be. But if this was 50 years ago, you would, just like your parents and just like them, and anybody who was hanging out with them was cheering the day that Dr. King got shot and killed. But all of a sudden, 50 years later, the same people love him and love to quote him. Bullshit. The one thing you don't do is quote the letter in Birmingham, his letter in a Birmingham jail. But anyway, go ahead.
So let's say then Democrats win. Democrats are taking the House,
Mhm.
right? How do we keep them accountable? Because we all know in some states there are some very, what they call independent Democrats.
Yeah, we have one over here in Arizona.
That very much
Joe Manchin is a Republican. I mean, Joe Manchin is
Right, right.
he's pretending to be a Democrat too.
So how do we then how do we keep them accountable? Is it doing the same kind of protests that happened here with Flake and with McCain?
Right. See, and did that work?
Didn't work.
Didn't
Flake
do a damn
still
thing.
chose what he chose.
Kavanaugh still voted for
He
Kavanaugh.
still voted for Kavanaugh. So what can then the Democrat Party do then to keep those Democrats that are in the party, that made those, let's just say again, if that happened, what do we do so that they follow through on what the intentions are, on what they committed to do?
the Democratic Party, at least here in Arizona, needs to be held accountable. And look, to me, sometimes I don't mind a crash and burn, to tell you the truth. That's me personally. It's like these Republicans are going to destroy the country. Now, I can either allow it to be destroyed by them because they think that's what's going to make it great, even though you can see the writing on the wall. That they're baby Hitlers, they're treating the Latinos like the Jews, and people, they'll get offense to that. They'll take offense to that. But what the Republicans are doing is they are ignoring the rights of people. They're separating families. They're treating them like property. Like the writing is on the wall for what happens in the beginning. Hitler did not just come out of nowhere.
Exactly.
He didn't just all of a sudden show up and throw people in gas ovens. Like, he did not just all of a sudden do that. There's always a start to the story, and it's how much you allow it to happen. And if you see and you step back and look at the bigger picture of what's going on in the United States right now, if the Republicans wind up winning, they will destroy the country and do the same thing. They are already trying to get rid of DACA. They already have a Muslim ban. They're already calling themselves nationalists. We know what the coded words are, and we know where he is trying to rise. The hate groups have been rising since Trump has been in office.
In 1 week, we've had multi-massacres. Just a few days ago, there was this guy that busted into a yoga studio in the Midwest, and he claimed to have, and I guess social media proves it, that he was an extreme right-wing misogynist, hated women, made a YouTube video about how much he hates women and think they're all sluts and whores, goes and shoots 2 women in a yoga studio and is proud about it. Then you had the synagogue killing. Then you had in Florida, bombs were being sent by a guy who is a devoted Trump fan. He had all of his propaganda all over his van.
Just MAGA out.
MAGA to the extreme. But what does the administration say?
Nothing. They sit there and, you know what, we shouldn't. It's so light.
They're
because
like,
he went.
No, the caravan's coming.
Yeah, it's the caravan. And then, he goes back in his rally talking about attacking the media. If you do not see the similarities between what was happening in Germany 100 years ago and this, you see, here's where anybody who's like, you're making false comparisons, don't say that about Jewish people, you're dishonoring the Holocaust. Listen to what Germans say. Germans will even say that this is a repeat of history over here in the United States because there's always that guy. Trump is that guy, and the people who are cheering him on are enabling him. And any Republican who is running with him, they are also in the same boat. They find it to be powerful to be white. They find it to be so powerful that it's so easy to, crap on everybody else in order to maintain a position. When you're in a shrinking party, that's what you're going to do. You're going to fight to stay on top.
The Trump administration just released this week an ad that was so racist towards Latinos.
So racist.
That even Fox News, as of the November 4th.
I mean, finally.
Well, not news, but Fox Media, if you will, didn't even air it. They refused to air it.
Well, they did air it. They finally stopped it.
Oh, stopped it.
It was stopped it, yeah.
And it was some stations like CNN said, no, we won't air it because we won't take the money for that ad. But that is from the president's own people that created this.
I can't remember. And
it was
a lie. It was a lie on what Democrats were doing. Like, it was pretty much this one guy who went and killed a couple of cops. He was let in the Clinton administration, deported by Clinton, let back in by the Bush administration, and stayed in, killed a couple of cops, been in death row, and now Trump is saying this is what will happen if Democrats are in office. Mm-hmm. Like, dude, what are you talking about?
Guess who?
Go on.
No, go ahead.
Go on.
This is Arpaio.
And Arpaio let him out.
Yeah, let him out.
So, look and see the way that the lies are being spread. Pretty much, I mean, you want my consensus? You have one party that is progressive, and you have another one that is regressive. Whoever you want to go for, go ahead, vote for that person. But just realize, no matter what, if this entire country explodes and implodes, there's going to be a blowback, and there are always going to be history books written on these people. You see how they're talking about Hitler now? Trust me, they are going to talk about Trump and anybody else who supported him. So please, keep on taking pictures at those rallies because you will be looked down upon in history. But anyway, that's the election. So make sure you go on out there and vote.
Not like the doomsday anniversary
That's
there.
it. Make sure you go out and vote, all right? ZodAndrea.com, everywhere at ZodAndrea.
And even send us pictures of you at the voting booth with your sticker.
All right, people, take it easy.
Bye.